back at Hugh Park near my house, and I just wanted to point something out very quickly before this despawns, and excuse me for the sunlight, but this park was originally on OpenStreetMap. It wasn't marked as an actual nest, but after I marked it as a nest last week, it's showing up. There's at least a Pokemon has spawned specifically on the path, and you can see it here on the right side of the screen, which is your left, and it's a Parasect. This Parasect just spawned here as I was stood here, and the reason this is a big deal is because this confirms a lot of what Nick was saying on the Trainer Tips channel, which is that one, be responsible if you use OpenStreetMap and don't mark your house as a park, because your house isn't a park, and that's abuse to the terms and conditions. But what it does mean is, as soon as I declared this park as an actual park on OpenStreetMap, at least it looks like there's a Paris that's spawned on the path. So if I zoom in, you can actually see that he's exactly on the path, and that's really encouraging to see that.
You've worn me down, taking it all off, shed my tears, and I've got nothing left.
So there's a lot of conversation going on right now about Gen 2. When is Gen 2 coming out? When is it going to be released? Gen 2, Pokemon Gen 2. And I'm right there with you guys. Here's my theory as to why I think Pokemon Go is being delayed. It may answer some questions, or maybe it will spur more conversation as to why I think Niantic and Pokemon Company haven't flipped the switch on Gen 2. Right now, we have so many different dynamics and mechanics in Pokemon Go that determine spawn locations and determine nest locations. We have biomes is one of the things. Biomes are still, in my opinion, a work in progress, because the exact biome where certain groups or type of Pokemon should spawn aren't exact, especially if you have any fire type Pokemon or electric type Pokemon. If it was down to me, I would use OpenStreetMap or Google Maps to determine exact areas where I think specific types of Pokemon should spawn regionally. So like everybody's saying, Gen 2 is here. This is a video to let you guys know that Gen 2 is in the game. Generation 2 Pokemon is already made. With most games development companies, they're usually ahead, and what they do is, whilst they're pushing out the first update, they already have game assets and code for later updates within the game, because it just makes it easier to push that content or hit the live button for when it needs to be released. So here's my main theory about what I think Niantic is doing. And this is a strategy I've seen so many different games companies do time and time again. It's also what happens when you release a game and you have no idea as to the scope or the level of hype it brings once it's released. Now, Niantic released Pokemon Go, but they still had no idea really how it was going to work out. I mean, nobody could forecast that it would be one of the top downloaded games both on iOS and on Android. I think they could have gotten a general idea if they had really paid attention to social media and made the extra effort to communicate with their fan base and realize, hey, this is something people have been waiting for decades. So here we are. This brings me to my final thoughts. Niantic, I think, are stalling. They're intentionally stalling to create a thirst. When you have a product and you release a first version of it, before you go ahead and drop the second version, you need hype. They want the same level of success they had with Generation 1 with Generation 2. And if you can successfully do that, that brings people back to a game that everybody says is dying, then it's going to work out really well for you.
And I've got love for you.
So I've come back inside to finish my thoughts, which are that we just have to be patient. After all the build up to my final point, this is it. I think Niantic, to a degree, we have to give them credit that they know what they're doing, but to an extent. And Pokemon Go is a game that requires new thinking, a lot of thinking that's out of the box. It's not a conventional game, so it isn't something that can be plotted out in the same way, say, like a PC game or a console game is planned out. It means that there's a lot that they have to think about in terms of ejecting digital data into the real world. But anyway, so those are my thoughts. So Gen 2's here, guys. It's just they haven't flipped the switch.